Calvin, go ahead and get us started off with the tip off, my man.
Look, okay, I'm ready for the series to end. Like, it's just something. It's been something every game, right?
Which series?
Oh, is this really, sir? You're enjoying this entirely too much. But like the Golden State Grizzlies series, it's been like, how do I put this? Like, it almost seems like dudes are actually trying to hurt each other. And right, of course, game one, Draymond, right, with Brandon Clark. Game two, Dylan Brooks with Gary Payton. And now, game three with Ja and Jordan Poole in a game that was basically a blowout, which makes it wilder, honestly. And like, of course, right, I didn't necessarily think the Grizzlies would get out of this one, if for no other reason, lack of experience anyway, but like, dudes might actually get hurt before this one is over. And dudes have already gotten hurt. What am I talking about? The ship has sailed. But like, I don't know. This isn't really okay. Right? This is not enjoyable shit.
Yeah, all of it feels gross. It feels very like tit for tat. Like, you did this to us, so we gotta do this to you. Like, they keep talking about a code where I'm like, this feels very baseball. Like,
that's what you're right. It does feel tit for tat. Real quick, I want to point out the fact that Collins had a loss for words was hilarious. But anyways, it does seem very tit for tat, but that's what's going to happen when you have a young team whose franchise is like known to be like nose to the pavement. Like, they go for it, right? Like, traditionally, I guess, like a modern sense, that's like the Grizzlies' MO. And they're a young team fitting into that whole entire message, the whole entire movement. So if you have a player on the opposite team, such as Draymond Green, who we talked about last week, who did what he did in game one to get the flagrant two, and then you got Steph Curry, who isn't talking crazy, but Steph Curry, we talked about it before, he talked crazy to you in the most suburban ways, right? So when Draymond Green talking that talk, Steph Curry is nodding his head extra hard behind him, like, yeah, what you gonna do about it? And then he's shooting threes and turn around and shimmying on you, all kind of stuff, right? So if you are a nose to the pavement grind team and you're a young team, you aren't going to allow that, no matter who it is, the Warriors with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, you aren't going to be okay with that. And so I think it's just like a dynamics thing, too. It just how it happened to be, right? And it just needed one person to kind of, get the ball rolling with that. And it just happened to be, not just happened to be, of course it would be Draymond Green. So I think it's just like, once again, it's just like you said, Alan. It's like a blow for blow kind of thing. But I agree with Calvin. It's kind of needs to end. It shouldn't be a somebody gets hurt every game kind of scenario. You know what I mean?
Right.
yeah.
Well, it's just like, my thing with it is I don't necessarily think it's a super blow for blow thing, but it's very, like, part of me wants to be like dudes being careless, but it's not quite that. I think it's on some level, except maybe Draymond's, which I feel is probably the most intentional out of the three things that have prompted this discussion, is that, right, it's young players like trying to play hard, and I think with Dylan Brooks's, for example, I don't think he. I'll put it like this: I think he was trying to foul dude, make sure he didn't, get the easy layup. I don't think he was trying to give Peyton a fracture in his elbow?
Yeah.
Yeah. And right, I think some of I think some of it comes with the reckless the fearlessness and the speed with which the Grizzlies play, and just the general kind of, I'm not sure if cockiness is a good word, of the Warriors, and just the general, also the reffing's just been weird. It was also strange with the Timberwolves game. It was arguably more strange because you'd have a 40-minute first quarter and then a 10-minute second quarter. That's neither here nor there. But I feel like the reffing in the Grizzlies games, in the playoffs at least, and probably not just the Grizzlies, but those are most of the games I've watched, has been inconsistent, right? Oscillating, the refs oscillating wildly between seeming to call every little ticky-tack thing and not calling obvious stuff, right?
It's. I also think I think a lot of the tit for tat that me and Alan mentioned earlier is circumstantial. A lot of it just happens to be what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I do think at the end of the day, this is just sports. And take the Brooks thing, right? And Gary Payton the second.
Mm-hmm.
That was a defender trying not to give up a layup in a playoff basketball game, and someone happened to get hurt. What the league wants, final one game, what the league wants is more offense. Let him get that breakaway dunk, whatever. If you're playing basketball, if you're a coach, you're saying run that man down as hard as you can. It just so happened to be, Brooks isn't LeBron athletically, so he's not going to jump out of the gym and block off the backboard, whatever, right? And Gary Payton is really, really athletic, right? So it just happened to be circumstantial. And I do think, I've seen some narratives out there about this. I do think a lot of people are just taking it out. They're just taking it out of proportion. It is sports. People are going to get hurt in sports if you play hard in a sport. But the league wants more offense, not getting hurt, right? They don't want the defense, the thing to take away from the fast break dunk kind of stuff, right? But when you get a young, hard-nosed team like the Grizzlies, you're going to run into these scenarios. They're just not going to let you dunk on and be okay with it and then go back down the court. And those are teams that's not going to be okay. There are other teams that also feel that way and tend to play that way. But I do think that it is just sports. And people get hurt when you play sport at the highest level. And nowadays, we have the technological advancements of people shouldn't be getting hurt, this, that, whatever in sports. And at the end of the day, sometimes it is just you're going to get hurt. You know what I mean? So I have that thought process on this as well.
Yeah.
Fair. I will say though that I'm not that upset that Brooks got suspended for it. Here's the thing, right? From a trying to enforce rules and safety and whatever, you by the way the rules are set up and just kind of trying to enforce it. I understand that.
He was going.
Yeah. But
what 100% going for the ball.
What does it enforce? Realistically, it just that is a normal basketball play. I was listening to Bomani Jones' podcast at the right time. He was basically saying around the 80s, early 90s,
that's just a foul.
Yeah, and they took those plays out of the game in playoffs because you ramp everything up. So if you get hit a little harder, you get hit a little harder. There was no malintent. Yeah, he got him on the head.
Yeah, he got him on the head. At the end of the day, I think for a lot of flagrant twos, you have to establish what was the intent of the individual, right? Yeah, it's like, and sometimes it's gonna be hard to gauge. I understand that, but he obviously didn't just go for the man's head, or obviously did. He jumped, ran for it, and Gary Payton was more athletic and jumped higher. And he was behind him trying to catch back up. That's all it was. I don't think he should have been a flagrant two. I don't think he should have been suspended. I don't think that at all. But once again, it's the league telling you that you shouldn't do this. It is not playing hard. It is them saying, if he has a breakaway layup and you can't get it, you shouldn't go for it. But then it's the playoffs. The stakes are high. People are going to get hurt because it's competitive and really athletic and really fast. So when you're on the sideline, you're a ref in slow motion, like you mentioned it earlier, Calvin. In slow motion, you're able to break down and dissect these things. None of these refs, none of these league officials have ever been on an NBA court with the stakes this high, playing on a team, trying to win a championship.
They've never been there. Former NBA players that are referees now.
So what?
You know, there are some former NBA players that are referees now. They're few and far between, but there are some in the press.
If you want to look at the percentage, though, it's drastically, it's weighted way more in one direction than the other.
I didn't know that. Just straight up.
Whatever. You know what I mean? So I do think this is PR control. Essentially, it is PR control. It's marketing for what they want the league to be. And this might not, right now we're having this conversation, but 10 years from now, you might have a whole new generation going, that's definitely, you got to be smarter in the moment and know whatever, right? But me personally, my personal opinion, that should not warrant a suspension. Because somebody got hurt doesn't mean your intent was malice by any means.
Yeah. Speaking of people not getting suspensions, Jordan Poole didn't get a suspension. And what he did arguably just looks a bit worse because of him like actually grabbing the knee and then the push in the back. Like, I know in the grand scheme of things, this probably isn't enough for. Have we even got word on what exactly is up with Ja's knee?
Not specifically.
Okay, so
I haven't heard anything.
So whatever tweak happened, like, it's just the optics of all of this looks bad because it's literally just like one play is one upping the next. Like the first one, it looks bad because it's Draymond, and we already know what's up with Draymond. The next one, you lose a key role player with Gary Payton fracturing his elbow, and now we do not know is Ja even slotted to return for the next game?
He's not this game. They haven't. It was against playoffs. They're not going to tell you until it comes close.
So we're looking at one of the key players, one of the marquee players in this series, not coming back probably for like the next game or two, which is huge because he's the reason why they're here. Like, the next man up is what, Jaren Jackson? And I still to this day, I don't like seeing Jaren shoot the ball. Like, it is the ugliest, hitchiest, like, it is. You remember when they was talking about Draymond Green having a backpack on when he shot?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's that level of atrocious where I'm like, dog, this hurts me to watch you shoot. Like, I know you shooting a good percentage, but do something else, please. Get a post
backpack on. That's crazy.
Look. He's got like 3 shots. One of them is good. I just want him to keep shooting that particular shot.
Fix it in the summer, Playboy, please. It's an eyesore. It's an eyesore.
Yeah, if it goes
if it drops, I don't care what it looks like. I'm not even going to pretend.
That's how most people feel nowadays.
Y'all better than me, boy. The only person I let slide, Sean Marion. Everybody else, fix it.
Like, if I was coaching, I'd probably try and address the general ugliness of it. But, like, come game day, did it drop or not?
You got a point. Don't be out here embarrassing me. You wearing my jersey, son.